Okay. If you have questions that you didn't get a chance to turn in early, please feel free to just drop those in the chat. Mrs. Short is going to be monitoring the chat, and at the end, she'll kind of put all those questions together, and I will try to answer them. And then if I don't get to answer them tonight, then I will send it out in Parent Square. All righty, so one of the first events that we have, one tomorrow, and then one on the 24th, is called Preview and a Popsicle. And so we'll be giving quick tours around the school. And mostly it's just, it's just 5 minutes around so that your kids have a chance, if they're nervous at all, if they haven't been to our building, or if you haven't been to our building, just to kind of give you the lay of the land and familiarize yourself with where things are. And then you get a popsicle, and you can say hi to me and to our office staff. So if you want to come down tomorrow from 9 to 11, or the 24th, next Tuesday, between 4 and 6, just a word of advice. You might not want to actually come right at 9, because a lot of people might come right at 9. So go ahead and feel free to just stagger yourself. We have a window on purpose so that we can make sure that there's plenty of room for physical distancing, and that nobody gets stuck waiting in a line for a tour. So feel free to just come at random times during those windows. Another event that we have coming up is our back to school night. This is something you're going to want to mark your calendars for. Again, we're doing a staggered start for this. So attendance will be by your student's last name, and you'll come. That will be the big reveal of who the teacher is for your students for the school year. So you'll get to meet teachers. We'll have opportunity to, we'll have tables up for bus service information. We'll have PTC information, volunteer information. It'll give you the opportunity to pay for school supplies or drop off school supplies. And so we hope that most families will be able to come. We know it won't be possible for everyone, but we're hoping that most families will be able to come. And let's see, looking at my notes, making sure I didn't miss any information about the back to school night. Oh, I did miss some information. So one of the things that we would like you to do is everybody will get a checklist when they come to our back to school night, so that you know each of the activities or tables to stop at. And when you turn that in at the end of the night, you will be entered into a drawing for prizes. So we have some cool Robert Frost swag is one of the prizes, and some other things. So if you get to all of the activities that are on the checklist, then you get entered in for a prize. So woohoo! All right, a little bit of other information. We have some different start dates in the district for kindergarten. So if you're not a kindergarten parent, this is your chance to close your ears. You're okay for a couple seconds, but kindergarten parents, your kids are going to start September 7th, and this is district-wide, so not just Robert Frost. If you have friends and family also in the district, but kindergartners, you will start September 7th with everyone. That's your first day. But September 8th and September 9th, you will have individual assessments by appointment with teachers. So teachers will be calling all kindergarten parents to make sure that you have a time signed up to come one of those 2 days. And if you can't make it one of those 2 days, it's okay. We'll do the assessments when the kids come back to school on September 10th, which is that Friday, and that will be kind of back to the regular school day, back to the regular school week. So new information, September 7th, all students come, K through 12. Well, actually, I take that back. I know it's not through 12, K through 5 for sure. And then the 8th and the 9th, kindergartners don't come to school except for with a parent for an assessment by invitation by themselves with their teacher. Okay. All right. I just want to talk quickly about masks, because masks are required at our school right now in order for you to participate in our in-person, in the building activities. So bring a mask to our preview and Popsicle, bring a mask to our back to school night. And if you don't have one, we have them here for you. But I also want to just say that I know as parents, we kind of set the tone, and as family members, we set the tone for how our kids feel about things. And since masks are required, I would just ask that in advance that you guys help us to keep a positive attitude about it for our kids' sake, and just kind of model those respectful interactions, because I know that it's not a happy thing for everybody. But we want school to be a happy thing for everybody, with masks or not. So we're just really hoping that you will help us to model that for our kids. All righty. Our next piece of information is PTC, and I'm going to throw it to Mr. G, and I'm going to stop sharing really quickly, and I'll come back to it after Mr. G talks. So take it away, Mr. G.
Hello, I'm Mr. G. I'm the PE teacher, Robert Frost, and I've been on the PTC as well for a long time. Currently, I'm sitting as the treasurer, and we are looking for you. We are looking for all of you. Come on in. Okay, typically we do our PTC meetings on the second Tuesday at 7 o'clock at night. These are all things that can change since we're changing to a different school. But we will have a booth at the back to school night, and please come by if you're interested in any positions. We have a president, vice president, secretary, and another treasurer with myself. We got a little bit of money to spend. That's always fun. And of course, we're looking to raise more with our annual jogathon. So stop by the booth if you're interested, drop off an email and we'll get to you. Even if you want to just, stuff packets for something, and not necessarily come to every meeting, that's totally fine too. We're looking for any help we can get. So that's my spiel. We want you.
Thank you, Mr. G. All right, and there will be lots of opportunity for feedback. And like Mr. G said, the back to school night will have some information. So, all right, give me a second. I'm going to go back to screen sharing. And all right, next item of information. And I know this is a lot of information. Remember that we'll send out the recording and Q&A later in Parent Square. So, and feel free to screenshot if there's anything you need to remember. All right, so tomorrow is the last day for submitting bus requests. And I can actually drop that link in the chat if anybody has not had a chance to fill that out yet. Let me see, can I do that?
Mandy, I can do that for you. So you can.
Perfect, thank you.
I'll get it in there.
I just want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity, because what happens is we can totally add routes later, or we can get your child on a route later, but there will be a delay in service, meaning they might not have a bus the first day or the first week. So if you know for sure that your child is riding a bus and you haven't had a chance to fill out the information, if you could fill that out by the end of the day tomorrow so that we make sure that we have uninterrupted service for your child, we would appreciate it. And also, again, it's not that you won't have a route, it's just that there might be a little bit of a delay if you don't have that in by tomorrow. Next up is supplies. So this went out in Parent Square. It's also posted on the window of our door. We'll have copies of this at back to school night and preview and a Popsicle if you want to pick up a paper copy. But basically our K through third grade students, kindergarten through third grade, will just have to bring a backpack, and we'll collect a $35 fee. So that teachers will just buy all the supplies for the whole school year, so that your kids have access to all the supplies they need for everything every day. For fourth and fifth graders, there's a list of all the supplies that you can pick up, and that there will be an opportunity to drop those supplies off. You can bring them the first day, or you can bring them to the back to school night and kids can leave them in their desks. Paying for supplies for kinder through third grade, you can do cash or a check, and you can do that anytime really. So anytime our office is open, which is Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 3 o'clock. And then at any of our special events, so preview and a popsicle, come on down and pay if you were ready, or at our back to school night. And then be sure to let us know if there's any hardship so we can help out. All right, so I just want to touch briefly on some safety protocols. So not only do we have the masks as our primary layer of protection, or one of our layers of protection, but we will be layering on many protective measures in addition, things like distancing, just hygiene, making sure our kids have opportunities to wash their hands before they eat lunch, making sure that we have opportunities during the day for kids if they need to wash their hands or sanitize. So we're just trying to really make sure that we layer on as much protection as we can so that we don't end up with the virus basically spreading in our classes. So I don't have tons of information about what that looks like yet, but we will be having a meeting with nurses, and more information will be coming out soon so that you'll kind of know what exactly that looks like at each school building. Okay. All right, next up, tech devices. So this year, again, our technology devices will be one-to-one. So each of your kids will get a technology device checked out to them. 3rd through 5th grade kids, you'll be having Chromebooks again. And our kindergarten through 2nd grade kids, you'll get an iPad. And that'll be used at school and at home as needed. And those will just be checked out to your student like a library book gets checked out. So one-to-one technology. And that's the end of the information drop. So hopefully I didn't overwhelm everybody. We will switch to Q&A for now. And then remember that if we don't get to a question or if I don't have an answer, we'll send it out later. But go ahead and drop anything in the chat that you would like to.
We do have a question already.
Okay, let me stop my screen sharing so that I can look at people. Okay, go ahead.
We actually have a question from a student tonight. So that's
Okay.
fun, from one of our 1st graders, Emmett, who is wondering whether 1st graders will have desks or tables. Do you want me to take that, or do you want to tell them?
Mrs. Short, you take that. You're the
I'm the
perfect
perfect
person.
one to answer this because I'm a 1st grade teacher. So I can tell you there are 2 1st grade teachers in our building, and we both use tables. We call them flower tables. So if you come into the preview and a popsicle, or to the back to school night, you'll be able to see why we call them flower tables. They're kind of round with some cutouts like a flower. So.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Short. Thank you, Emmett, for submitting your question. All right. I just want to say, because I noticed some people were coming in, people have been coming in the whole time that we've been presenting. So we will post the recording as soon as we have that uploaded to YouTube. If you would like to watch after we're done, and the Q&A will be sent out. And also, if you're in Parent Square already, most of the information either has been sent out, so you can scroll back and look at your posts, or will be sent out very soon, like our back to school night specifics. All right, Mrs. Short, other questions?
Yeah, so we have one about if your child is not riding the bus, so if they're going to be a walker or a pickup, when should they give us that information? And will kindergarten through 2nd grade still be allowed to walk?
Kindergarten through 2nd grade can walk. We want to make sure that we have a clear plan that our kindergarten through 2nd grade teachers know exactly where your kids will be going for safety. And we'll need to know if they're meeting older siblings to walk, etc. So yes is the answer, but we'll need some information first. So at our back to school night, we will have a place for you to fill out a card for us. So we have that information about where your child's going after school. And they will have backpack tags that will zip tie on there. So hopefully they stay on all year so that any adult after school will be able to check and make sure that your child's going to the right place after school at the right day in case it's different. Because we know the plan isn't always the same every single day. If you don't have time to do it during the back to school night, we will also send it out the first day of school to anybody that wasn't able to fill it out. And if you need us to know for the very first day that something's different, you'll just call the office to let us know. We know that the first week is sometimes a little bit different than what the plan is for the rest of the school year. So the best thing is just to really communicate that with the office staff and with teachers if there's a different plan for the first week. So we appreciate the information. We want to make sure we're getting your kids home safely. That's our priority. All right. Any other questions? I do have two that were sent in through Parent Square. So
we have one more in the chat. And then if you want to do your two that were sent, one just asking, what is the plan for quarantine learning?
Okay, well, that's one of the ones that was sent in. So we know that we're waiting for some specific details about how we might quarantine. So let's say that one student, it has a confirmed case in a classroom. What we don't know for sure yet is if the entire class will quarantine or if kids sitting at that, closest proximity to that student. So when we get that information, those specifics, we will send it out. But we do know that it's inevitable that kids will have to quarantine, whether they've been exposed or have, symptoms themselves. So while we are really focusing on putting our best energy as teachers into in-person instruction this year, we will have some virtual classrooms set up so that it can be pretty seamless when if your kids are quarantined, that will be able to access some instruction. However, with that being said, it's not the focus. Online instruction is not our focus this year. We're really focusing on in-person instruction. So it's not going to be the same as it was last year. It will look different. It might just be the work that's been assigned posted, and kids will kind of work to catch up when they come back if they have missed actual instruction. So that is different than last year. That'll look a little bit different. So yes, this is not teachers' first rodeo anymore. This is our third rodeo. If we have to switch to any kind of online instruction for quarantine for a little bit of time, we're ready for that. We'll be prepared, and your kids won't miss out on too much. We're hoping that it won't be the in-person instruction, and it won't be as much as it was last year, but they will have access to instruction and to practice, so they're not losing skills during that time. So hopefully that answers that question. Do you have another one?
It's a follow-up to that. It says, are we using any of the curriculum that was used last year in virtual learning? So I'm not sure if that means I'm maybe the Seesaw, the Canvas maybe is what they're talking about.
If somebody wants, who was that asked that question?
Wendy. I don't know if Wendy wants to clarify to us if that's what she meant.
That was me.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just curious. I think it was the virtual platform that they used, all the Canvas, everything that was used last year. That I have older kids, and it was a struggle. So I know the Seesaw was as well for younger kids, but I just wondered if that was going to be used at all.
So
when we were going back to more traditional.
We will have the same probably platforms, because that's what teachers and families got used to last year. So we don't want to switch anything and make it one more thing to learn this year. So yeah, we'll still use the same platforms like Canvas, Seesaw, Google Classrooms, those things. There might be paper packets if that's preferred. But we'll have the option for the technology for sure. We'll be able to post assignments and stuff. It'll be those same ones. So whether we liked them or, loved them or hate them, that's kind of the ones that we're used to using and seeing. So that's what we're going to stick with this year. If kids need them. Does that sound good, Wendy? That actually answered your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
that does. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that was actually part of my other question that was sent in. So I'm double checking my notes. Yeah, it was about like, if people have to quarantine, will it be more teacher led or, family directed? It is really going to be more independent work because teachers will be focused on in-person instruction. Unless it's a majority of their class or something. And then of course we'll pivot again because that's what we do. But all right, any other questions?
I do have another one for you. So a parent wondering, what are some of the big changes that they can expect this year at Robert Frost that might be different from previous years, just knowing that now it's K-5 and not just 3 through 5?
Good question. I'm new here too, and we have about half new teachers that are, been in our district, but are from Mark Twain. So really, I don't know what the answer is. I think that we'll be creating some really cool new traditions and things, but really trying to value what has come from both schools. And so we're kind of creating some new things by merging, what people loved from the other schools. So I think it will be super important as families and community members and parents to really be involved and come to the town halls and come to the, PTC because we want your feedback. We want to make our school match the community that we live in. And so we want to do what you guys think is valuable. So your feedback is totally important to us as we kind of create what Robert Frost K-5 is that might be a little bit different than what Robert Frost 3-5 was, or middle school, because it's had a lot of iterations. If there was anything specific to that question, you can feel free to follow up. I'm not sure I really answered.
That parent did say thank you already.
Okay, perfect. We have about 3 minutes left and want to value everybody's time, but we probably have time for another question if there is.
We have one more in there if we're ready. Okay, yeah. What will drop off and pickup look like?
Oh, I'm glad somebody asked. That's actually on my agenda for next week because we do have, if you've been at Robert Frost, we have some new procedures. So it's my understanding that parents got to line up all the way down the street to Safeway, past Safeway last year. And so we've done some things to try to alleviate that by switching our bus and our parent pickup locations. And so I don't have a map to show you right now, but I'm hoping by next week when we do our town hall, and we'll be also sending some stuff out in Parent Square, that we'll have a map for you that will kind of show along the front of the school where drop off is, where bus students will be met by an adult to walk into the building, where students enter to come down into our classrooms, and breakfast, and also what dismissal will look like, because we have some cool new ideas that will hopefully speed it up, make it more efficient, and make sure that it stays really safe for all kids. So come back next Thursday night, and we'll have some more specifics on arrival and dismissal. All right, Mrs. Short, is that the end of our questions?
Don't see anything else in there unless anyone has one last burning question.
All right, well, remember that we'll post the video, we'll post the Q&A in the Parent Square, hopefully tomorrow, maybe Monday. We'll see how fast the turnaround is for the video. And if you would, if you have questions, you can email me directly. I should have posted it, pack_Mandy@silverfalls.k12.or.us. You can find it on the website. or you can respond to any of the posts in Parent Square and I receive those. So I'll just copy and paste everything. If you have more questions in the meantime, or feel free to call the office if you have a specific question that you think is just for you and not for a town hall audience. I'd love to talk to you. All right.
We did have one family unmuting. I'm not sure. Did you, Gerlitz family, did you guys have a question or?
Sorry, yes. Alana was wondering if the students will be able to go into the library to check out books or if it's still going to be done online.
Alana, I think that you're going to be happy. I think we're actually going to get to go in and check out books. That's the plan right now. Yay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Robert Frost families, our Robert Frost community, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I appreciate your time. And we'll hopefully see you again next Thursday for our next town hall.